Alright, so what do we got here? We got the last round of a game, probably. You can see I've got the maze set up in the full version. The rooms will actually be the little 3D rooms that you've seen in my previous videos. And the little cubes there are the familiars. You can see the red familiars currently carrying a crystal. And the discs are the mages. The red mage there is waiting to pick it up. And in fact, waiting to pick it up for the win. You can see the red mage card here. And the red mage currently has 2 crystals. And you win if ever you have 3. However, the red mage's turn just ended. The red mage just had a showdown with the purple mage and blasted the purple mage to smithereens, which is why the purple mage is back in the starting corner. Our poor little purple mage here, I'll take a moment to show you just how adorable she is. The art is by my friend Josh Rivers. And now it is the black mage's turn. We can see the black mage also has the dragon coin. The dragon coin allows the black mage to cast 1 spell for free. There's the last thing, which you won't see as relevant in this playtest because they've popped them off in the corner, is Panda. It is the panda whose labyrinth this is. And as you play, occasionally the panda will move, and he will become hungry or lazy. And when the panda is hungry, you need to feed him spell cards, or he eats you. Right where the action is. You can also see the Wall of Stone and Firewall are in play. Red has been defending his corner ever since he got 2 crystals, and that is the product of his defense. Alright, so let's move some of the relevant bits into the screen here. Okay. Alright, so there's Black's player board showing their dragon coin, and they have a haste spell active. And so you can see Black is in this room back here, and all of the action is happening in this room right here. I'm just going to move this stone wall. It won't be relevant, just so we get a bit better lighting. Alright, so Black starts by rolling the dice. She gets a 4 and a 2. Now, because Black has 1 open crystal slot, she can reroll one of those dice. So she's going to reroll the 2. Ah, nice. Okay, so 2 4s. So Black is in a position that maybe she can actually win the game. You can see that her familiar is already in the room, and that's important because the familiar has to pick up the crystal. Okay, so Black is going to start by spending. So then what you have to do, I've been playing this playthrough for a little while now, so I forgot to explain some of the rules as we went. Okay, so with your 2 dice rolled, then you have to assign them to 1 to your familiar and 1 to your mage, and then you can take actions for your turn. So when the cards are all pretty, you can show that by putting the 1 die over your familiar and the other die over your mage. And then as you spend action points with one or the other, you can tick the dice down to keep track. It's handy like that. So Black is going to assign a 4 to himself and a 4 to his familiar. To her familiar, obviously, because there's only 4s to choose from. So the first thing she'll do is she'll spend 1 of her action points to move her mage from this room to this room. And these little opening horseshoes, circles, are regular doorways, so everybody can move through them. That's normal movement, so there's no problem there. Black is then going to spend another action point casting the Twist Room spell, which every player has access to twist this room over here like that. Now, actually, she needs to twist it all the way around. And twisting isn't limited. You can twist it. You pick up the room and put it back down however you like. Okay, so, and this was all part of a grand plan to take out Red. So then, she's going to use her dragon coin to cast Crush. Remember, the dragon coin lets you cast a spell for free once per turn. And so she casts Crush. So the target, and she's going to target red, may move. I've obviously made a whole bunch of edits to this card, but anyway, they can move as if they have no attributes, which means just they may get a move, but they can only go through these regular archways like this. But the twist of the room that black did before casting Crush prevents red from moving anywhere, and so red is crushed. Now, if red had a reaction card in their hand, and they don't, they would be able to do something about it. Reaction cards, like Wall of Fire here, have a little exclamation mark on the bottom under the spell cost. You can cast those in reaction to being the target of an attack spell like Crush, but you have to pay for their cost at the beginning of your next turn. So if you do too many reactions, you can end up missing your turn because you end up having to pay all of the mana costs. Okay, so red is crushed. And so red gets removed from the board, and red was carrying two crystals. So those crystals drop right there. Now this is important because black needs 3 crystals to win, and black currently only has 1. So black's little cat is what black is going to have. Spends an action point to pick up 1 crystal, and an action point to move into black's room. And now this ledge matched to a door requires the agile trait to move through, but black's familiar is agile. It's a cat. Black will then spend 1 action point to channel that crystal and gain it to her board. Then the cat will spend an action point to move back, and 1 more to pick up that last crystal. Now black didn't quite win off of this gambit. Oh wait, actually, black did win, and I forgot. I had forgotten that black has this haste enchantment in place. So at the start of black's turn, both black and its familiar gets 1 extra action point, which means you increment the dice by 1 up to a maximum of 6. And so in fact, black, the mage, has 2 action points left, and the familiar has 1. And so the familiar will use its last action point to move into black's room, and black will use an action point to channel the last crystal and win. Alright, so that's a sample of the last turn of play, of where the game stands right now. I'm now going to go back and make a bunch of edits to things. As you can see on this card, I have been making changes as I go, to try and increase the amount of player interaction. But I'm really liking where this stands, and I am going to see about getting it ready to be playtested by other real people very soon. Thanks again for tuning in.